Following a two-day summit with members of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, U.S. President Joe Biden is heading to Seoul and Tokyo, despite a raging war in Ukraine, a signal that the Indo-Pacific remains the administration's priority and China its greatest strategic challenge. It's a synergy of Trans-Pacific and Transatlantic coalition building, said National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan.
And President Biden's unique capacity to actually stitch those two together is, I think, going to be a hallmark of his foreign policy.
In Seoul, Biden will meet the newly inaugurated South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol after a series of ballistic missiles tests by North Korea. Officials are racing for another launch while Biden is in the region. In Tokyo, Biden will participate in the Quad Partnership Summit with Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and either Prime Minister Scott Morrison or his contender, Anthony Albanese, depending on who wins Saturday's Australian election. Biden will use the Ukraine crisis to signal to China that unilateral changes to the status quo by force, whether in Taiwan or the disputed islands in the South China Sea, are unacceptable.
The administration wants to make it very clear that there is strong support for Taiwan throughout the region and that there is tremendous capability there, as there has proven to be capability in the transatlantic alliance vis-a-vis Ukraine.
The Quad will also consult on the recent security agreement between the Solomon Islands and Beijing that has triggered fears of a Chinese military base in the strategic waters of the South Pacific.
It's been fundamental to Australia's view of its own security that hostile powers should not be able to project force against Australia from the Pacific.
In Tokyo, Biden will launch the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, the centerpiece of his administration's economic policy in the region since the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the free trade agreement that the Obama administration signed in 2016 and that the Trump administration withdrew from in 2017. There are scant details about the framework, but one thing is clear. IPEF does not include the free trade components that regional countries want. Despite several countries signaling interest in the framework, observers say this means the U.S. still lacks an attractive trade strategy to counter China's increasing economic clout. Patsy, Widakuswara, VOA News at the White House.